Polls close in California just a couple of hours from now. Live pictures of San Francisco, where one of the key races is. Tomorrow morning, we could wake up to a former Republican as the likely Los Angeles mayor and San Francisco's progressive prosecutor out of a job. Either would be a political earthquake. Both could reset things nationwide for Democrats. Scott Tranter, head of data analytics at our Partners Decision Desk HQ, and we'll be calling the races tonight. Scott, good to see you. First, Chesa Boudin, the progressive prosecutor in San Francisco, has presided over this huge rise in crime and feeling of lawlessness in the city. Recall elections, which are notoriously hard. Is there polling to support that this is a possibility?
Not only is there polling, there's precedent. San Francisco recalled 3 school board members earlier this year by a margin of, I think the lowest was 68%. The other 2 lost by 70%. It's very clear that the citizens of San Francisco are unhappy with their elected leadership. And so if I were Chess, I'd be worried tonight. And I think that the polling is close, and polling in these types of things is always all over the place. But the precedent is there for an upset.
If you are Tim Ryan, Democrat running for Senate in Ohio, if you are John Fetterman, Democrat running for Senate in Pennsylvania, do you hope that Boudin gets recalled and the progressive, relatively soft on crime wing of the Democratic Party gets this strong rebuke?
You know what? I don't think any of those folks are actually thinking about Chesa Boudin. But yeah, if they had to think about it, they would want it to be, they would like this to soften a little bit, because they don't want to see the harder edge, the more liberal edge of their party dominate the electoral politics this fall. Because what they're witnessing is what Glenn Youngkin saw when he won the Virginia governorship recently is, look, you need to take a moderate lane. You need to understand that not everyone wants to go to the extreme of either right or left. Those Senate candidates in Pennsylvania, Ohio, that's what they'd like to do.
And when you poll crime and left-leaning bail reform and those kinds of things with swing voters in places that it doesn't exist, I'm thinking Ohio, where it's largely not an issue, do they sort of superimpose those same policies and ideologies and results onto local Democrats from the results of California?
I don't know that they connect them specifically to California, but they do look at those as more liberal, far more liberal issues than what they're normally used to. They look at it, hey, that's what San Francisco wants to do. That's what LA wants to do. I don't necessarily
Democrats
think that
locally responsible.
Correct.
Okay.
They hold, they hold the party responsible, especially in those middle states.
What do you make of what's happening in the mayor's race in Los Angeles? Hard to imagine we're talking about a mayor's race, but the Los Angeles Times just wrote, who cares if Snoop Dogg endorsed Rick Caruso? He's a billionaire mall magnate who up until a few years ago was a self-avowed Republican.
Yeah. Republican independent, recently changed his affiliation, got a rare Elon Musk endorsement as well. He is likening himself as he likes to think of himself as LA's Rudy Giuliani. And LA's Rudy Giuliani, when he was a highly popular mayor of New York, he's going to come in, he's going to clean up homelessness, he's going to clean up the streets, all those things. Now, whether or not he can do them, that's the knock against him. You've got Congresswoman Karen Bass, who was the front runner up until a month ago, saying that he's coming in, saying all the right things, but can't actually accomplish it. I think that will be the biggest upset of the night if he's able to get above 50% and avoid a runoff. That'll be a pretty big blow, because not only is he knocking off Congresswoman Karen Bass, who's an establishment Democratic pick, but also she's on the progressive wing. So that's more of a signal than what we're looking up in San Francisco.
All right. You'll be back. We'll talk to you in the 11 p.m. Eastern hour as we look at the results come in. Scott, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.